A special day that we welcome all the mothers that are here on Mother's Day. We want to honor you, and we also want to honor grandmothers and great-grandmothers. Sometimes grandmothers and great-grandmothers have to fill the role of mothers. How many of you know that? I've raised my two boys, and then as a grandmother, I raised my two grandkids. As I was preparing this message, I thought back on the days when my son and my grandkids were so little and so cute that I could have pinched their little cheeks off back in the day. I remember some of the things they would say, and it just brought a smile to my face. I can remember when my son Patrick was 9 or 10 years old, and it was Mother's Day, and he got on his bike. I had gone to work, and back then you could allow them to stay on their own. I hope you could at least. But I had gone to work, and he wanted to surprise me, so he got on his bike, and he rode to the baseball card shop. Now, he used to collect baseball cards, and you would trade them, and then you could sell them. So he rode his bike all the way across town, went to the baseball card shop, sold some baseball cards, thought he got enough money, got his money, and then rode his bike all the way to the florist, because he was going to get his mother a dozen of red, long stem roses. And he got there, and he put out all this little change and all this little money, and he said, I want to get my mom some long red stem roses, and I want them delivered to the police department. Well, he had enough money for the roses, but not enough money for the delivery. So I guess because he was so young, somebody must have said, we're going to go ahead and deliver them to the police department. And they were delivered to me at the police department, and I couldn't believe the effort that he had gone through to make Mother's Day a special day. And he did it all on his own. And as I prepared that message, I remembered that story. You see, so many of us here that are mothers and grandmothers, all of us have stories like that, where our kids or our grandkids have done some things that we at this time of the year need to go back and remember. So I raised my granddaughter and my grandson, and we went to Maine in the winter. How many of you know in Maine in the winter, the lakes freeze over and it snows? So my granddaughter and I and all of us had gone to Maine for the winter, and the lake was so frozen that you could walk out on the lake, and you could even drive a truck on the lake. And then they had these little, first time I'd ever seen that, they had these little houses on the lake. Y'all know what I'm talking about? And they sit there and they fish. So my granddaughter, she walked on the water, and with a gleam in her eyes, she says, I'm walking on the water like Jesus did. Well, in the eyes of a 5-year-old, she was walking on the water. It was just frozen. And as I was getting ready, I started laughing about that. I mean, you should have seen how excited she was that she was doing what Jesus did. And of course, we all have memories like that. Now, how many of you know if it wasn't for mothers, we wouldn't be here today? Not a person in here would be sitting where you're sitting if it wasn't for mothers. So I want to take one more time and let's give God praise for all the mothers. Now, we've learned things from our mothers over the years, and I want to share a few of those things with you. My mother taught me religion. You better pray that it will come out of that carpet. My mother taught me time travel. If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you into the middle of next week. Some of your mothers have said the same thing. My mother taught me reason. Because I said so, that's why. My mother taught me logic. If you fall out of that swing and break your neck, you're not going to the store with me. My mother taught me foresight. Make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident. My mother taught me irony. Keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about. My mother taught me about stamina. You'll sit there till all of those peas are gone. My mother taught me about the weather. It looks like a tornado swept through your room. My mother taught me about anticipation. Just wait until we get home. My mother taught me medical science. If you don't stop crossing your eyes, they're going to freeze that way. How many of you can honestly say, as a child, you used to walk around and cross your eyes? Be honest, raise your hand. Or if you was like me back in the day, you used to take your finger and you could push that inside of that eye out. Anybody else did that? Other than me? Oh, see, B raised her hand. She got honest. We used to. It was the coolest thing. We would take that finger and you'd push that eye out and it'd stay just like that. And then somebody said, if a fly lands on it, it's going to have a bunch of babies and they're going to be stuck. So maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do. My mother taught me humor. When the lawnmower cuts off your toes, don't come running to me. My mother taught me how to become an adult. If you don't eat your vegetables, you'll never grow up. My mother taught me about wisdom of age. When you get to be my age, then you'll understand. So what else does it take to be a mother? Well, she has to be skilled just to get through the day, just to fulfill her everyday duties. Mothers have to wear a bunch of different hats, and mothers have all kinds of different jobs that they have to get done. So let's look at a few of her skills and what her job involves. Cleaning the house. She has to be the doctor on call. She has to be the nurse, the psychologist, the counselor, the educator, the chef, the carpool driver. Nowadays we say the Uber driver, the theologian, the fire marshal putting out family fires. Now I know none of y'all have ever had any family fires. And then this one. And then occasionally a police officer. Now, I took that police officer one to a whole new level. Because when I came home with my kids, or when my grandkids was there, I walked in with my police uniform on. And how many of you know who was in charge? I took it to a whole new level. I was running things. In fact, I had it so bad of being a policeman that, you know, when you're on the street, you have a tendency, when a police, well, at least it used to be, when a police tells you to do something, they do it. You say, put your hands on the car. Give me your driver's license. While their hands are shaking. And I got so used to being a policeman, bossing everybody around. My best friend said, "Stop bossing me around like you do your thugs." Now, with all those jobs that a mother has, can you imagine what it would cost to go out and hire all the skills that a mother has? And then could you really trust someone with your family? You know what's amazing about moms? They find a way to get the job done. Something else about moms, she will do whatever it takes to meet your needs. Amen? My mom was a single mom for many years, and I only have one sister, so me and my sister, when we were little, I can remember we didn't have much money, and my mom worked 2 jobs. And one day we were all sitting, the 3 of us were sitting at the table, and I was just a kid. You know, kids eat a lot, especially when you are a tomboy like me. I climbed trees, I worked out in the yard, I did all kinds of stuff. So I would have a big appetite. And I remember sitting there, and Mom had fixed all of our plates, and I had finished eating before everybody else. Go figure. And I looked at my mom, I said, "Mom, I'm still hungry, I want some more to eat." Well, my mom knew there was no more food. So you know what my mom did? She said, "I'm full, you can have mine." Now, I didn't know at the time, like I know now, that a mother will sacrifice for you to meet your needs. You see, there's nothing like the love of a mother. A mother will do anything to protect her children. A mother wants the best for her children. How many of you mothers want it better for your children than you had? So today, they are deserving of our admonition on Mother's Day and every day. You see, we should make them feel special, not just one time a year, but every day. Amen? We must never minimize or ignore the role that mothers play in the lives of her children. Remember this, mothers matter. They impact our lives in so many different and wonderful ways that we couldn't cover them all today. I can tell you, every one of you, your mother told you something that you remember today. I used to say, "I'm never going to do that when I have kids." Guess what I did? Exactly what I said I wasn't going to do, because I knew that my mother loved us and wanted the best for us. My mom taught us the work ethic that I then passed on to my kids. If you want nice things, you have to work for it. No one owes you anything. My mother taught us before the word became politically correct, you are not entitled to anything. I still carry that today. So one afternoon, a man came home from work to find total mayhem in his house. His 3 children were outside, still in their pajamas, playing in the mud, with empty food boxes and wrappers strung all over the front yard. The door of his wife's car was open, and so was the front door of the house. When he entered the house, an even bigger mess. A lamp had been knocked over. In the front room, the television was blaring a cartoon channel. The family room was cluttered with toys and various items of clothing. He walked to the kitchen to find that there was dishes filling the sink. Breakfast food was spilled on the counter. The dog food was spilled on the floor. The dog was running in and out of the house. A broken glass laid under the table, and a small pile of sand was spread by the back door. He quickly headed upstairs, stepping over toys and piles of clothes, looking for his wife. He found her lounging in the bedroom, still curled up in her bed, in her pajamas, reading a book. She looked up at him and smiled and asked, "How was your day, dear?" He looked at her bewildered and asked, "What happened here today?" Again, she smiled and said, "You know, every day when you come home from work and ask me what in the world I do all day?" "Yes," with a dumbfounded look on his face. Well, she answered, "Well, today I didn't do it." Well, today I didn't do it. It's going to take them 2 months to get that place cleaned back up. A lot of times we don't realize what we have until it's gone. For those of us who have lost our mothers, I can tell you, if I could go back, there would be things I would do differently. I think all of us that have lost our mothers would say the same thing. Now I'm closing with this. As we continue to learn how to live, nevertheless, at thy word lives, honor your mother. The Bible tells us in Ephesians 6, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth." Is there anybody in this room that would like to live a long life here on earth? I would. Now don't get me wrong, I'm ready to go home if God calls my name, but for right now I'm ready to stay. So all we have to do is stand on God's promise. He commanded us to honor our father and mother, and if we do, He promised that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. So when it comes right down to it, mothers matter because of something more basic than their protection, support, and teaching. The real reasons that they matter is because they love us. No matter what we've done, and I can tell you from experience, in my younger days, I got myself in some mess. And guess what? My mom still loved me. I made mistakes. I went down the wrong trails. I can remember one time I was a teenager and I was just talking back to my mom, and she was in the kitchen cooking. And she looked over me and she said, "Sheila, you need to shut up now." And I kept on, yang, yang. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yang, 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 yang. And she was a cooking and she had a pot right there. The next thing I know, there comes a pot. And I did like that just in time, or she would have got me with that pot. But you know what? Mothers love us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Our mothers still love us. We must never forget that. So Mother's Day is a great opportunity for each one of us to say thank you, Mom. And today is a good opportunity for those who have lost their mother, for you to sit back today and think about all the things that your mother taught you. I can go all the way back to when I was 5 years old. It was raining back in the day. The slides that the swing sets had, the metal slides, should have been a baking pan. When it got hot outside, you know what I'm talking about? And my mom said, I said, Mom, it stopped raining. My mom said, don't you go out there on that slide. And she turned her back. And when she did, I went out on the slide, and they had this little platform. Remember, you'd go up the stairs, and there was a platform before you slide down? And I was on that platform, and I said, Mama, Mama, look, I told you it was okay. About that time, I slipped on that metal and came off the side and broke this arm. I still remember my mother saying, don't go out there and get on that slide. So as I spend this Mother's Day, this is my second Mother's Day without my mother. I'm going to remember all the things that she taught me. Because I am the person I am today because of my mother. And my mother was a disciplinarian. She was a strong woman, and y'all know it. But I never doubted that she loved me and my sister more than life itself. And here's something my mom always said to us. Don't give me flowers when I'm dead. I can't smell them. Y'all give me flowers when I'm alive, when I can smell them. I first want all the mothers to stand to your feet all over this building. Mothers, if you'll stand to your feet. Now, how many of you know it takes a village to raise kids these days? So I want all the other ladies in this room also to stand to your feet. Because I know for a fact that most of you that don't have kids help me raise my kids and help me raise my grandkids. So right now, as they're coming around, I've got my little worker bees. I'm going to do what my mother said, and you're going to receive flowers that you can smell while you still can. Amen? So men, I want you right now to give a great praise to God for all these ladies today. What a blessing y'all are. So smell your flowers, ladies. And as you smell them, remember Leola said, don't give them to me when I'm dead. Give them to me when I can smell them. Right up here, Anna. Come on, there's 3 up here. And there's Darla right there. Right there, right there. You got yours, Darla? Hold on, hurry up, girls, come on. They working. She got